Alright everyone, welcome back to RCH Builders. So we've got all these drains. Of course, you see us putting in on the other side over there, where we were doing the backfill. We've actually got this side done as well, and we've got this cleared up and laid out for the pad that it shows on the drawings. It just says 112 square feet, so we made this accommodate that sizing. And then we've got our drain pipes. We've got them connected together with a Y right here, and then we put a little bit of dirt on it, and then it rained and mud and everything, of course, and there's a lot more dirt, but you can basically see it comes down through here, and for right now it stops here. It just folds back basically out the way. And of course, coming from the other side down through there, we've got those pipes, and right now they're connected with a Y in it, and then it just stops. So what we're gonna have to do is continue those this way. So we dug this big hole. Just time wise, we didn't really have time videoing, but this hole is at the bottom is 5 foot by 10 feet that way, and it is about 3'9" to 4'6", depending on average. That's as much down as we could get it. So this is for the Drywell system, and I'll explain that as we go along, the different steps. Basically, it's supposed to catch all the rainwater from the roof and other stuff and give it a place to set until it permeates into the soil. And then because the soil around here is very, very hard, very compact, they require a perforated under drain to go out from it, and so that's what this is, that goes out until it comes out downhill. So it's a process. First thing we've got to do now, and I'm gonna, because there's so much mud out here, I don't really have a good place to set up a camera or whatever anyway, and then time frame as well, but I'll probably show each little step but as we do it. But the first thing we got to do is we've got landscape fabric. One other thing we did when we dug it out is we also took some loppers and sawzall. We cut off all the roots that are sticking out in here, because you don't want any of those coming in this way. But anyways, we got to put this landscape fabric, we got to put it on the bottom, we got to put it all the way around the sides, and we got to put in the perforated drain, which is going to run all the way across and then stop. These will come into the top of the flow well cubicles that will be in the top of them. And we'll, like I said, we'll show each step as we go along. But the mesh, the fabric, we're going to put that in first, the bottom and the sides. It'll also have to go across the top when we're done, but of course we have to fill it first. So, and this will all be filled with number 57 stone, which is basically a cleaned combination of number 5 and number 7 stone. So it'll be number 5 stone mixed with number 7 stone, and it will all have been washed before it was put in. So with that being, so there's a lot less dust, which then creates issues with compaction, both compaction and with drainage of water, which is something we don't want. So again, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this in. We're going to use little fabric stakes to just hold it in place. In the bottom is not as big a deal, but on the sides especially. So we'll get that ready and mark out the next thing, and then I'll come back and show you that. Alright, so got the fabric in, which was a pain because of all the mud and then also the rock. But basically just got it around there. These were the little pieces, you know, the little stakes. You can kind of see one right there, and right about there. You can kind of see where it's wrinkled, where they were just pushed into the dirt, basically is all they do. But I got that in. I went ahead and got the perforated bottom drain out of the area. It's just barely out there. It can be taken down through the trench later. Might probably end up doing it before fully filling this, just so that we can put dirt back right behind there at the same time as filling this, or eventually that fabric's going to rip over there. But anyways, we did that, and then marked 1 foot up all the way around. That is the minimum amount of number 57 stone that is supposed to be in the bottom before the flow well, dry well, the flow well is installed. So next thing is simply going to be putting a bunch of dirt in here, which is going to be real fun. I mean, not dirt, stone, number 57 stone, which is going to be real fun getting it over here through all this mud. But that's the next step, and we're just going to fill it up to the red line basically, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so it's another day, and it has dried out a little bit. It's not at least quite as muddy. Plus, where I had dug that trench, it helped that dry out. And then we've got about a foot of stone in here. So the next step is, like I say, so I drew that line around there. We've got 1 foot of stone down in the bottom, and now we're actually putting in these drywall systems. So this is it with the lid off. It's actually got the lid sitting on top of that other one right now temporarily, but that's what they basically look like with the lid. The top, there's no opening there unless you knock it out. That's for like putting in a drain clean out, which we probably will do. But what I did it here is we've got our 2 drains, one from the one side of the house and one from the other. So I'm simply going to have them both come in. That way it won't, instead of making a Y and then going in, we got the openings, we're right here, might as well. It'll help the flow better. And then we'll have them coming out and going into the next one. Once it gets filled up to the top, it'll start pouring over into that one, and then on to the third one. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to basically, I've got this one in and pretty much level. It doesn't have to be dead level. It's within the bubble. You're on this stone gravel. It's not, it is kind of a little bit difficult to be dead level, which is not required. Doesn't need to be. We just want it as close as, fairly close. And like I said, I am well within the bubble. I think one direction I'm actually dead level, but we're going to basically bed around it up to probably about right here, this rib here. And then at that point is probably when I'll go ahead and take the pipes in. I'm not sure. I may try to, where I go in between from this one to this one and so on and so forth, I might actually try to get those pipes in ahead of time, or I might just take all the pipes in before I get that high, just because flexibility. We'll see. But I think I might be able to set it up, kind of put it on hyperlapse, and then when we get to taking the pipes in, I'll try to actually video that. For the most part, we're just filling up with stone, so it's not like it's super exciting, but we'll try to show a little more of it now that it's dried out some. Alright, so now we've got the stone pretty much all the way up and over the covers. Just got a little bit more to add to get it over the covers themselves. And then we'll be adding a little more stone after that. But I'm going to go ahead and start putting in the cleanouts that we need to put in to be able to make it so if they ever needed to pump it out or you know, get down in there with a snake to try and clean out, suck out any debris or something like that, then they will be able to. So I'm going to go ahead and get started doing that. It's going to be fairly simple. First thing to do is make sure that this is nice and cleaned out is all. A little bit of dust ain't gonna hurt nothing. Got a knockout right here. Trying to keep a hold of it so I can pull it out. Don't want it down in there. And then all we need to do is basically glue our clean out onto this and have a very short piece of pipe. So it's going to roughly sit just like that. And then this will be where the top of the ground level will be later on. So with that being the case, we're going to need just a nice little piece of pipe. Doesn't have to be exact. Just enough to be able to join them together. And since all of these are going to be the same, I'm just going to go ahead and cut all three. One trick when you're cutting this PVC pipe, in most cases, I never use a marker, usually, hardly ever, to actually mark where I'm going to cut it, because you've got all this writing on here. So all I will usually do is I'll go and say, all right, where I'm going to cut is between the N and the S on NSF, or, you know, I just use those to mark it for me. Clean out caps, they can go either way. Does not matter if they go this way or this way. If you put it upside down like this, per se, I mean, some people might call it upside down, but it's manufactured to go either direction. It helps basically hide it. So if you're putting it on a wall, you might want to do that, or putting it in the ground like this, you want to do that to help avoid a lawnmower or a weed eater from catching that cap and ripping it off. So I'm going to probably just leave them like this until it sets up and we have everything the way we want, and then I'll flip them over. So there we go. All we're going to do is we're going to add more of this fabric and have it come up and go over the top to cover up all of the gravel and keep it from getting native soil inside of it. And I did go ahead already and just take that pipe out down towards the end down there, and then I'll actually cut it off and probably put like a pop-up drain or whatever once this is all graded out and I know for sure how much farther that way it might go. I got a little bit, I got about 15 feet farther I could go that way if needed, but I don't think that it's going to need to, but just in case I've got it, because yeah, there's a big pile here, but we got a lot more filling and sloping slowly everything out. We're going to backfill a little bit still up here, basically at least about 2 inches below that. It'll be about 2 inches above this. So there's still a little more dirt needs to go all through there to help slope everything real good. But the concrete pad is in now. And I don't think that I have shown the house with the paint. So there's a sneak peek on that. Alright, so there's the top cap. The little fiber mesh over the top. Now we just got to basically cover it up the rest of the way with dirt, native dirt, and it will be done. And of course fill the trench there and go ahead and use up this pile basically to just do the grading as much as we can. And then I guess I think after this there should only be one more video, which will just be showing the whole thing completed and finished. And this series will be completed and we'll be moving on to the next. So hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hope y'all have enjoyed this large 2-story addition series. Like I said, we'll have one last video which will basically just show the whole thing, the finished product. So hope you enjoyed. We'll be starting right into the winery project where we'll be doing that. So stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one.